to the cloud. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. So excited to have you guys on for our first team huddle of 2019. It's always amazing to me when I'm like, we're at a new year and a new season, and it's just really exciting. So for those of you that are new and you might not even know who I am, my name is Missy Hides. I am an executive regional vice president, and this team huddle is for my region as well as Lori Huffman's region. She's also regional vice president. So we do them together, and we are just excited to be on tonight. So sorry, I always get weird dry mouth sometimes when I get on these videos, but just excited for what we did in 2018, whether you're new or maybe you've been with the team for a little bit. We had 4 brand new district managers that promoted in December, which is super exciting. And I think one of the things that I most loved about the promotions is that they were in multiple parts of the country. So we had a gal up in Minnesota, we had a couple gals in Ohio, and we had a gal here in Kentucky. And so it's just fun to see the team growing and expanding. One of the fun things that you guys can always do when you hop on is there's a chat feature here at the bottom of your screen, and you can always just type your name and say, hey, calling in from wherever you live. I think that that's kind of fun, so we can kind of see where everyone is calling in from. But just big congrats. We had a lot of people bonus. We had a handful of people hit one of the level 1 options, whether it was for the sales or the promotions for AIT. And there's just tons and tons of new things coming down the pike. Really the intention of the Facebook group that you're a part of, that's called Life by Design, is designed to communicate information to the team, so that you guys can stay abreast and really stay on top of what we're getting, any information that we're getting. It's a place for you all to communicate. It's a place to ask questions. It's a place to encourage each other. It's a place to share. Like if you read a great, say, nutrition article, or you see, just something that you think, gosh, this could be great for everybody, please know that you can post on the team page, and that I want you guys to be using that. Lori and I want you to be using that just for a great tool for yourselves. So excited for 2019. I want to touch on one aspect of goals before we move into some of the announcements that we want to share with you all, primarily adding a virtual component to our business for 2019, which we're really excited about. So as you're starting your year 2019, and whether you've been in Arbonne for a long time or you're brand new, you really want to learn how to goal set. And goal setting at its simplest form is writing down what you want to accomplish with a date attached to it. Okay, and that might seem silly, that might seem really elementary to you, but there is something powerful about writing down a goal, attaching a date to it, and then posting it in a couple places for you to see. So if you haven't yet done that, it's the 6th of the month, I'm really going to recommend that you get that written down, whether it's promote to district manager, promote to area manager, have a $500 paycheck, get in front of 40 faces this month. You have to decide based on your goals and your personality, what is a good goal for you. One of the things I identified with one of the gals on the team this fall was that she was much more motivated by a dollar amount of her check every month than she was a certain sales goal or QV goal. So she identified that she wanted to make, I think the first goal was like $300. She wanted a $300 check. And so that was the tangible goal that she was moving towards that month. That was the focus. For her, that was more motivating. It was something she was more excited to commit to than, say, doing 3,000 in sales. So again, decide what you what drives you. It might be a promotion. It might be a dollar amount of a paycheck. It might be you just want to focus on the activity because you know that if you focus on the right amount of activity, you'll get the results. But whatever those things are, make sure that you have them written down, and then you need to follow them up with a plan. So There is the reduced qualifications this month for 3,500 QV will get in all consultants to promote to district manager. So I posted a call by ENVP Debbie Neal. It's excellent. It obviously is full of great nuggets. But if that's your goal, or you have a goal to help other people do that, then you follow that up with activity, right? And so then you map out in your month, well, how many people can I get in front of? How can I get in front of them? What am I going to get in front of them with? Is it Zooms? Is it parties? Is it drop appointments? Is it virtuals? You know, all of those different options that you have in your Arbonne toolbox. Okay, so it's really important for you to grab hold of a vision for where do you want to be New Year's Eve 2019 with your business. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to walk that backwards. So then you kind of think about, okay, if I'm going to be there in a year, where do I want to be by this summer? And then where do I want to be by GTC, which is our global training conference in May? And then where do I want to be by the end of this month, right? You just break everything down into bite-sized pieces. And then for your 30-day goals, it's even great to break those down into weekly goals. And then you can really kind of funnel those back into daily to-dos. Because this business, you all, is really about consistency. It's not about grand efforts. It's not about doing something really big or really kind of out there. It's this business. You win the day, we say, by really just being consistent in those little activities and doing them on a daily basis. Okay, so if you've got questions about goal setting, about what that looks like for you, talk to your upline manager, your sponsor. One of the things that I like to do is I like to set a big 3 to 5 goals for 2019 as they pertain to my business. So I've done this for the last couple of years. So I just really pick or kind of hone in on, I'm going to have won the year in my business if I accomplish these 3 things or these 5 things, whatever you kind of come up with. It might be a promotion. It might be earning AIT. It might be helping a certain amount of people promote out. It might be earning a certain amount of a paycheck, might be whatever the options are, going to GTC for you and your business. But I find that that's helpful to just have some kind of big targeted things that you, at the end of the year, you can say, I did this and I was successful in this, and you can see those goals accomplished. Okay. All right. So it's 9:10. So I want to spend the next bit of time really sharing with you all a new tool that we're going to be adding to our toolbox for 2019. I'm going to share it, and then I want to open it up for questions, for clarification, for all those things, so that you feel comfortable with what we're going to be doing moving forward. Okay, so to kind of back us up a little bit, the basic premise of the Arbonne business plan, business strategy for success, is that a consultant is sharing the business and the products with 40 people in a month. Okay, that is the simplest, most basic way that you can look at our Arbonne business plan. That business plan, or those 40 faces, what we say, can be reached in a variety of ways. One of them is in-home group presentations. This is where you either have people come to your place, or you have somebody who we will call a host an event, host a party, host a gathering, host a group. They have friends, family, neighbor, coworkers, classmates, whoever, come over. You bring product, you demo the products, you share the Arbonne story, and you share the Arbonne products. That's one way that you can get in front of those 40 faces. The value of doing events, parties, groups, whatever you call them, is that it is a natural way to grow your market. Okay, so I like groups, I like events. I like them because they're social, they're fun, and I like that they naturally network me into other people's markets. Okay, my market knows what I do. I want to be in other people's markets, and I can effectively do that by doing group events. Another way that we can share and get in front of 40 faces is we can do Zoom events, right? So this is where you, your upline, and a prospect, a friend, whoever you want to share the story of Arbonne with hops on, you do a 20-minute phone call. That can be done in that 2-on-1 setting. It also can be done with a group of people. So if you're like, I've got 5 friends and I would love them all to hear about Arbonne tonight, or I've got 4 cousins, or whoever, you can do them in a group. So the Zooms are great. You can meet somebody for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and have that same conversation in person. Okay. There's also the option of dropping product to someone. So this is where you would have typically full-size product. You can use samples, but I find in a drop situation, it's a little bit more effective to have full-size samples because it's time sensitive, meaning you're going to give them a full-size skincare set, or you're going to give them nutrition samples in a gold bag that you can buy at Arbonne for $5. And you're going to pick those products up, get their feedback, share the story with them, typically in 3 to 4 days after you drop the product off with them, okay? So we have those tools. Think of those as tools in your toolbox, and at any point you can pick any of those out. We also can use things like social media, okay? We can use our Instagram posts, our Instagram stories, Facebook posts, Facebook stories. We can use Facebook events to get in front of people. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my kind of thought on Instagram, Facebook posts, and stories. To me, Instagram and Facebook are kind of like driving on the highways of life, right? So highways of life, anybody that's on there can kind of see, I want them to see really a full picture of my life. I want them to see parts of me as a mom, parts of me as learning how to be a runner, parts of me as an Arbonne consultant, parts of me as a friend, as a daughter, as a sister, all of those different aspects of me. But I believe that when people go into our stories, they're wanting to get a little bit more of a sneak peek into my life, or kind of a like fly on the wall into my life. And so I use my social media stories to be much more Arbonne conscious, much more direct in sharing about 30 days to healthy living, putting on there that people that join, sign up for one of our groups gets a free water bottle. I do more of that through my stories than my posts, but I do use posts as well. And so it's just learning that that's kind of just another tool that you're going to have to help grow your business in 2019. But the component that we're going to add that I want to talk about is we're going to be adding a virtual component, a virtual sharing of Arbonne. Okay, this is something that will help us grow that 40 faces a month to upwards more of like 60 to 80 to even maybe 100 faces a month. If you're like, how in the world would I get in front of 100 people in a month when there's only 30 days in the month? This is where you're going to be looking at leveraging your time, and virtual events can help you leverage your time. Okay. I am not of the belief that virtual events are the only way to build a business with Arbonne. I'm also not of the belief that in-home product demos are the only way to build an Arbonne business either, okay? I believe it's really smart and wise to have multiple tools, because you're gonna be reaching out to all different kinds of people, and in-home events might be really attractive to some people, where a Facebook virtual event might be really much more attractive to somebody else, or somebody might want to grab a coffee with you, but somebody just really wants to take product home, and then they'll tell you, what they're interested in at that point. So I think that it's best to use a variety of tools. Get comfortable with all of the tools, find the ones that you're most kind of geared towards or wired towards, and then get really good at that. Okay, so if like the Zoom overviews are your jam and you're like, I love Zooms, I could do 8 Zooms a day, then get really good at those. If the in-home group party is like, you just love it, you love being in people's home, you love having that, conversation and that energy, then get really good at that. okay? What I love is that with all of these tools, we're sharing the same story. We're using that front and back document called Is Arbonne for You? And I'll post that if we don't have it up on the team page. And there's going to be some things we're going to be updating because updates always come, January, things like that. So, but what this virtual component is going to look like is we are going to start a second Facebook group called Life by Design Virtuals. Okay, so our Life by Design group is our Facebook team page. I thought that it would just be simple to carry over that same group name into our virtual events. So, or virtual group, okay? So this is going to be a group that anybody who is a consultant in the business, in our team, can be added to, okay? It's the group, because of the way that Facebook is set up, if we ran events, they would show up on the main feed, and that's not really where I want to have these events take place. I want these events to take place in a group, okay? So we're going to create a new group called Life by Design Virtual. Within those groups, we're going to have a weekly Facebook event, okay? They're going to be opened up either Saturday night or first thing Sunday morning. They're going to be topic specific. You're going to have from Sunday morning till we go live in the event with a presentation on Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. That presentation will be 15 to 20 minutes or less, okay? We get it. This is something that your leadership team, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago. We kind of, just chewed through this. We get it that people want to hear information, but they also don't want to sit on a live for 20 minutes. So we're going to try to keep them short and concise. We're going to have posts in the event leading up to the live. The posts are going to be geared and created to capture interest, to get engagement from people, to have them be commenting, to get them excited and kind of feeling the fun and the energy before we go live on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? Every week, somebody new will be doing the live, so it's not going to be like the same person. It's not going to be me every week doing the live. We're going to do the live presentation on the Wednesday, and then there's going to be some follow-up posts that we will post probably Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and then we will be closing out and deleting the event on Saturday night. So that live will go away, the event will go away, it's time sensitive. And it's designed that way so that when people log in, they watch the live, or they miss the live and then they come watch it Friday morning, they know that they only have until Saturday night before it's going to go away. Versus being in a group where there's just video upon video upon video, and you're kind of asking, hey, did you get a chance to check it out? Oh, no problem. Hey, did you get a chance to check it out? No problem. What this is going to do is you're going to be able to tell them, hey, girl, if you haven't checked out the video yet, make sure you do by Saturday, 6 o'clock, because the events actually gets deleted at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. And we'll come up with what those exact times are so you guys know. After the event is deleted, in order to have people in that event, you had to first put them in the group, okay? And then you add them to the event. And you're going to tell people, and we'll give you the text verbiage for this. It's just a 2-step process, and it's not that big of a deal. But we're going to tell people and let them know that we will be removing them from the group. You will be removing them from the group after the event that they agreed to watch is over, unless they would like to stay in the group and catch upcoming lives. You can let them know, hey girl, I'm planning to take you out of the group. If you'd like to stay in the group, we have a Facebook Live event every Wednesday night at 9:30. Well, we're going to cover things like skincare, nutrition, makeup, oils, and the business. If you want to stay in, I'm happy to let you stay in. If you want me to take you out, just let me know. And then you let them decide. If they decide 3 days later, shoot, I actually would like to maybe see or hear a little bit more about the makeup, you can just add them back to the group, and then they can pick, or you can add them to the event of choice. Okay, so it's going to be, the goal is that it will be a systematic way for you to have a virtual option to plug prospects into, whether it is their first exposure, their third exposure. Maybe you've met them at a party, and then maybe you got coffee with them to share the business, and they weren't quite ready to say yes. This is a great thing to kind of plug people back into. Maybe it's somebody that's done 30 days to healthy living. Plug them in, offer this. Most people, you guys, need 5 to 7 exposures before they say yes to Arbonne. Most consultants or people stop asking the prospect after 2 no's. So if you've asked somebody like, hey, would you bet for a Zoom? No, gosh, I'm busy. It's finals week. Hey, no problem. And then you ask again, or would you like to try a sample? Or would you like to host? Or would you be up for grabbing a cup of coffee to hear about the business? If after 2 times they've said no, just realize it's not important to them. It's not yet a priority. And many times people just need a little bit more information or a little bit more of an ask. And so I think the virtuals, we think as your leadership team that the virtuals are just going to be a great tool to help you all really maximize your exposure every month to the products and to the business. Okay? With that said, in order for lives to be effective and have high energy, that little symbol in the top where there's the I, there needs to be people watching. Okay, because there's kind of nothing worse than getting on a live and seeing that no one's watching, or it's like 2 people watching. Okay, so what we are going to ask you all to do, and some VPs that I've talked to, they have really told their teams that their lives, their virtuals are mandatory. I can't make anything mandatory. You are an independent business owner. This is like a volunteer army. I'm fully aware of that. But what I am going to ask you all is to understand that when you participate, meaning you just get on at 9:30 at night, the thing with Facebook Lives is you don't have to be giving it your full attention. You could be driving in a car home from maybe a Wednesday night church, or maybe you're in class, or maybe you're trying to put your kids to bed because you live on Central Time and you're like 8:30 is is it an awesome time for you? Just turn on your app, go to the group, go to the event, and it'll ding that there's a viewer. So even if you're not actually viewing it, it will show that there's a viewer. And the more people that we have watching the lives, the more it's going to drive confidence for our guests, the more excitement there's going to be, the more engagement there's going to be, and the person presenting is going to have just more energy because they know that there are people kind of in it with them. Okay, they're not just out there on their own sharing about the cosmetics and like 2 people are watching. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you all to do is to set just a standing appointment on your calendar for Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Team Virtuals. Okay, we are going to create a calendar so that for the next at least January and February, hopefully into March, you will have the list, the schedule of what topics we're going to be covering. Okay, our first virtual is going to be, pull my calendar out, the 16th. So we're going to have time to get used to this. We're going to have time to give you guys the text verbiage that you want to be messaging out. We're going to have time to set up the group. We're going to have time to set up the event. Okay, the first one is going to be on the 16th. I'm going to be doing it, and we're going to be doing the opportunity presentation. Okay, so if you're kind of like, I want to know what the first one is, that's what it's going to be. And then we're going to rotate them through business, skincare, And we might do anti-aging one week. We might do prep work one week. You know, we might just highlight some favorites, maybe some masks, things like that. We're going to cover nutrition. We might do a full, you know, super short brief on 30 days to healthy living, or you might just cover, you know, kind of a couple digestion products, digestive products. We might cover a cleanse. We might talk about fizzies. You know, we're just going to kind of take it as we go. We're also going to do 1 week, we'll be doing makeup, cosmetics, and 1 week we'll be doing oils and how to use the oils for personal use, for home use, things like that, okay? Again, these are gonna be short, 15 to 20 minutes or less. So say we do oils, we might only cover like 2 oils. We're not maybe gonna cover all the oils. But it's just, Arbonne has over 300 products. We have this incredible business opportunity. There are lots of people that want to have a second stream of income. There are lots of people who want to live better, live cleaner, live healthier. And this is just a way to say, hey, I'd love for you to check this out. It's super convenient for them. They can literally be sitting at home or wherever they want to be and hop on, get a little blip, get a little taste of what Arbonne can offer them. And then your job as a consultant is to follow up with them and help lead them to a decision. The decision is either join a team or become a preferred client, or maybe host a group event because it's like, gosh, I loved what I saw with all the makeup. I'd love to kind of be able to play with it with some of my friends in person. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. I'm really excited about it. I think that, again, it's just another tool in the toolbox. There are some people, that I think that this is going to really benefit. I think this is going to be great for the people that you have shared Arbonne with, and they haven't yet said yes to the business because they can't really connect the dots on how they have time to fit this into their schedule. Okay, this is a great answer for that. I also think that this is going to be a great answer or option for people who live in rural communities, and the idea of having 6 parties in a month involves you driving an hour to and from each way for a party, and that seems a little like not super awesome, especially when we're in the dead of winter. I know I'm from North Dakota, and you know, North Dakota, Minnesota, a lot of the northern states, like it's just dark and cold, and people don't really want to get out and drive an hour to and from to get to a product demo, right, or a party or an event. So I think that this could be a great option to be plugging people into. I think this can also be a great event option for people that live, maybe you have friends, prospects, PCs, or maybe you live in like a big metro area, and maybe you live, 45 minutes to an hour commute away from where you work. So it's like, I've got a lot of work friends or people that I hang out with during the day, but then I have to commute 45 minutes or an hour. So to host a party or have them host a party, like that just gets a little cumbersome trying to figure that out. Areas I'm thinking of are like Chicago, DC, New England, those places where just people commute a lot more, kind of into the city and out. And so I think that they're going to be great for that. We live in Kentucky. We live in the Bible Belt of America. People like to gather for parties. For the most part, the weather is, pretty friendly for us. I still think there's going to be a great benefit to us for the virtual component. But again, I don't want to forgo the meeting in homes or the meeting with people at coffee shops, because people really do like that as well. They like that connection. So I'm going to move this to the gallery view and just open it up for questions, clarification, maybe comments of what you're excited about, just anything like that. And Lori, if you or Edie or Tara, you guys were all in kind of the planning meeting, if there was anything I forgot or anything that I should touch on that I didn't, feel free to unmute and do that. Has anybody, well, I can ask this too, has anybody encountered having an overview with someone and they're excited about what they heard, but they just didn't go ahead and sign up because they it was the issue of like time, when would I fit this in, or I'm not a party person, or I don't want to drive an hour to somebody's house. Have you guys, who's had that? Like unmute and share, just anything like that that you feel that this would kind of help overcome that.
I've had that happen multiple times, just people not wanting to go out and do a party. I mean, it's not like lazy, but their schedules are full and they would rather, hop on a Facebook Live at nighttime than worry about going somewhere. Or some people are afraid to do in-person stuff. So some people don't like inviting people over. Some people feel uncomfortable with it. So that's like some excuses I've heard from people regarding doing the business.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it is a real thing. I think more than ever, because we can FaceTime with people. Like, we didn't FaceTime 5 years ago. So the idea of seeing someone in person was like, well, of course I've got to go out and meet them for coffee. But now it's like, I can just FaceTime you from my bathroom. Like, why do I need to leave my house to go chat with somebody for 20 minutes? One of the MVPs who she actually has taken her entire business virtual, and I love her to pieces, and I think that it works for her, kind of per her situation. She has 5 children. They live in super rural Illinois. She homeschools them, and to get to she works out at Orange Theory Fitness. It takes her a full 50-minute drive. So the idea of like finding a babysitter for 5 kids to go meet somebody for coffee, to share our bond, just wasn't very realistic for her. And so she really saw the benefit of having a virtual option. And so I'm learning from her, and she's had great growth in her business this year. She's done it now for a full year. And so I'm just excited. Does anybody have any questions? If you guys want to type them into the chat box, you can do that. If you want to unmute and ask about how it works, make sure you're clear on it. Yes.
Oh, no, I'll say one thing, just because I've got several gals in the rural areas too. Even when I've done reach outs before, sometimes the response, because they know I live in Louisville, it's still, even though we have FaceTime and grandparents use FaceTime and all that great technology, they forget, that, hey, we can have a meeting through this. And they're like, are you going to drive from Louisville? And I'm like, no, so I think like people are starting to grasp that, hey, we don't have to be literally in person. I mean, I'll have a meeting with Lori, or anyone with my team. And so people outside of Arbonne, I think sometimes forget that, or they're not used to that. So just, those are some of the things that I'm trying to think of more of my team that's in the rural parts. Mm-hmm. that kind of you can kind of run into that sometimes. So via Zoom. I live in Louisville, and a year ago I didn't know what Zoom was, and so when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I love the idea of the Facebook group, because people don't have to log in to Zoom or anything, and so I think that that's going to be helpful. I'm excited to have us create some of the content. And as we go, I am going to tell you guys, this is going to be like a learn as we go process. So it might feel a little bit cumbersome at first. It might feel a little like I need some reminding. How does this work again? But the overall concept is going to be that we're going to have a group called Life by Design Virtuals, and that is going to house these events. And then every week, there's going to be a week-long event, and it will have some sort of title, change your brand, change your life, or something about whatever, one of the topics that we're going to cover. We'll open it. You can add people to it. We're going to be having posts leading up to the Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. And for that live, I have started to make a list of who I would like to ask to do some of those. If you are somebody that I don't know yet well enough to know, like, oh gosh, you love doing lives, or you're super comfortable on the camera, or you love doing a makeup tutorial, or maybe you're like a essential oils guru and we could so use your help, because I know very little about essential oils at this point. let me know, send me a Facebook message and just say, hey, Missy, I'd love to help, or I'd love to plug in. Going live and doing the lives is going to be really a great way for you to practice. I will say that if you are willing to go live, then you're going to be willing to take some feedback. So if you talk too long, I'm probably going to send you a text and be like, wrap it up, or we'll do things like that. Because that's just part of coaching. That's part of how we're going to all get better at this. But really my vision is that we're going to do these for 2 cycles of 90 days. So we're going to do this for 180 days. And then we're going to kind of evaluate. We're going to see and I would like us to, as best we can, kind of be tracking okay, I invited this many people to virtuals and this was the results. I got this many PCs, or I got this many new teammates, or, just so that we can kind of get a gauge of how they're serving us. And if the weekly is enough, if we need to go to 2 a week, if we need to pull it back and do 1 every other week, I'm definitely open to, like I said, learning together and growing together in this. But I am excited. I think it's going to give us it's not going to replace the work that you guys are doing, but it's just going to be another tool, like I said, to add people to get them exposed to the products and to the story, to the business of Arbonne. So is it clear? I feel like you guys must be so smart and savvy that it's so clear. So that you understand. And I will tell you all that I didn't come up on this on my own. Edie, Lori, and Tara were great helps. Megan Reekin, I'm going to give her a shout out. She was the one that gave me the idea for the systematicness of it, like open them, close them so that they're very set. It will be your all's responsibility to add people to the group, and it'll be your responsibility to take people out of the group. Okay. We don't want to be adding people to the group that haven't given us permission to add them. So if one of you loads up 60 people in the first group, I'm probably going to reach out and say, did you get permission from all 60 people, or did you just dump a lot of people into this group? Because it's not about just dumping people into the group. It's about having targeted conversations with people and really wanting to invite them because it's an area of interest for them. It's something that, you, per a conversation that you've had or a follow-up or a product that they're using, you think could really serve them and be a benefit to them. So, Lori, is there anything that you want to comment on before we wrap up?
Yes, I was going to ask. Oh, first of all, I think I think this is going to be a great learning tool for even new consultants, because I know it's very nerve-wracking the first time. And with the 2-page overview, we do a great job of covering all the information, but some of the product-specific information that I can foresee us touching on will be really helpful. Like I love watching Lisa Voorhees talk about RE9 set because she knows a lot about makeup, things like that. But do you foresee the beginning or the entry or the first part of that touching on all aspects, like even in the live itself, if we're focused on the prep work, do you foresee us doing a little bit of all the information, or for the live specific to the prep work? I guess, how do you foresee that playing out?
I think it's going to be kind of a learning as we go. Part of my hope is that we are going to, in the posts leading up to the live, we're going to be hitting on who is Arbonne, what's the Arbonne difference, why is Arbonne the #1 healthy, brand, healthy living brand inside and out. Some of those posts leading up to it. And then I think that when we go live, in order to keep it to that 15-minute component or less, we will probably my thought, I think, is probably just having people touch on referring people back to the, what makes Arbonne different video or things like that. Or maybe we'll have a little sheet we can post or image about, Arbonne 2000 ingredients that aren't in the product. And then just letting people know a little blip. I think to keep the lives fun and engaging, we kind of making them like a sandwich where the beginning and the end are always going to be the same, but the middle is going to be what changes. So beginning is a little bit of who is Arbonne? So, welcome tonight. if you've never heard of Arbonne, this is who we are. We're a almost 40-year-old, vegan wellness skincare nutrition company, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to focus for the next few minutes on XYZ, and then wrap it up with some sort of close with, there's a couple ways you can connect with Arbonne. We'd love for you to consider the consultant option. It's the best deal, or the preferred client option. But the consultant that invited you will be following up with you. Stay connected to the event till it closes Saturday night for great information, great specials, great deals, things like that. So I think that that's what that will look like.
Okay. If someone doesn't get deleted, so I add 15 people to the group for that Wednesday. If I don't, it just gets deleted on the Saturday. So is the removal, I guess, the purpose of,
so the removal will be the event will be deleted.
Okay.
But because everybody that's in the event is also in the group, they need to be deleted out of the group.
Okay.
Unless they want to stay in the group. And why they would stay in the group is they would stay in the group to catch upcoming lives.
Okay.
Like next week. But if they just wanted to agree to the one, 20-minute thing on 30 days healthy living, then you would take them out of, they'll get deleted out of the event, but then we take them out of the group as well. Just the reason is so that when people are agreeing to watch something, they might not be wanting to stay in a group indefinitely.
Okay.
But who will stay in the group is all of the consultants on the team.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was just wanting to hear it one more time just to make sure I'm clear on the intent.
And it was really the only way, after asking people who are much more Facebook savvy than I am, how to get people in an event, was that it was best to put them in a group first. So it's kind of like you have a group and then the events are going to show up weekly within the groups, but they'll get deleted out so that the events will get deleted so that they're time sensitive.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask a quick question, Miss?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely want you guys to ask questions so you feel comfortable and like you get off like excited, not like, what was that? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm. Just wondering if anything has been talked about, or if the people that are currently doing this, if they do anything with asking people to be hosts within these groups, like through you, but then inviting like their own people and then adding them to the group.
So like if you have someone that says, hey, sure, I'll listen Wednesday night to the makeup tutorial.
Yes.
Then letting them know, hey, if you'd like to add 5 friends, we'd love to add them to the group.
Yes. And then kind of making that like their like virtual, I mean, not for them because it's not specific just to them, but then somehow incentivizing them, like whether it's through the regular party like system in the, like just through the event and having host rewards, or just anything like special that we could like come up with that would be easy, like even if people didn't order, but maybe they're going to join and, we still get people through that way.
Yeah.
Just wondering if anything has been talked about that way.
There has not. I do know that the other teams that have done this, they don't have like a host concept. They just have these weekly team virtuals. But I definitely think that you could add that component, that you could invite somebody, and if they say, sure, yes, I'd love to watch, then you can say, that's awesome. If you'd like to invite 5 friends or 10 friends or whoever to participate with you or hop on with you and watch the live before it closes on Saturday night, you can set them up as a hostess in the events program. You could create, shoot that link out to them and just say, if any of the gals want to order, after they hear the information, they can, and you'll get host rewards. You can do that. As consultants, I think that you guys are free. You are free to incentivize people on any kind of a level that you would want. If you'd want to offer some free fizzies or your discount, if they get 10 people to participate, you might want to offer like your discount on their one order in that event, just kind of as a thank you for the referrals. I think the one thing would be, and I know Megan, you and I have talked about this, and another gal on the team, she had done this too, is set up kind of like an online info gathering, kind of like an online guest profile sheet. I think that can be done through the CRM.
I think so too.
I think there's a link, and this is where if any of y'all are more tech savvy than me on this, I would love your help. I think that there is a link that you can send people that they can click on it and they can put like their name, first, last name, phone number, email, and it'll populate and it'll basically drop them as a client into your CRM, which is your customer relations manager, which is available for all client consultants, so that you can capture their information. Because if you have somebody that invites 10 people to watch the Facebook Live, but you don't have any way to follow up with them, you don't have their name, you don't have a phone number and email, I'm not sure if you'd want to incentivize that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if there's any way to gather any like fruit from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea to have them give you a list, and then you could personally reach out and have them complete like that, like the profile on the CRM.
Yeah. So
you can personally follow up with them too.
Yeah, you can personally follow up with them, or you can let that person know, like, hey, anybody that fills out that info sheet prior to the live on Wednesday night will get entered to win, you know, I don't know, mascara or something like that. You can incentivize people that way, because then you are getting contact info. It's no different than standing at a fair or like a booth at a craft show or something and getting information that way, people's contact info. So, but the CRM does have a form to fill out. I'm not sure how to tell you how to get that link for that form, but I know it's in there. So if anybody's played around with that and they know how to get it and they want to post it on the team page, that would be awesome. So does that answer that, Megs? She went away, so it must have. All right. Does anybody else have any questions before we hop off tonight? I hope you guys are excited about all this. I'm really excited about it. And it's definitely a learning curve for me, but I think it's going to be something really exciting. So like I said, I can't make these mandatory, you guys, just like I can't make the local Discover Arbonne meeting that we're having this Thursday mandatory. But I will tell you this, that everyone who drives a Mercedes is at the meeting and will be on the virtuals. And so not everybody who's at the meeting has the Mercedes, but everybody who has a Mercedes is at the meetings, okay? And what that just means is also the same concept of sometimes you don't need the meeting, but the meeting needs you. And so sometimes on these Wednesday nights, you might be like, I don't have anybody that could hop on, trying to get my kids in the shower, tub, getting them ready for bed. And so you might not need the virtual, but the week that you have 4 prospects and you're like, oh my gosh, I so want them to like say yes to the business, that's the week you need the meeting, and you're going to want that ticker number to say 10, 15, 20 people versus 2. And so it's just about that team concept of we're going to all participate so everybody benefits. We don't just participate when we're trying to make a benefit for ourselves. Okay? So same thing with the local DAs. Show up even if you don't feel like you need the meeting or you don't have a guest. Come this Thursday, 7:00. We want you there. We need you there. The more energy, the better. Same thing for these virtuals. The more energy, the better. Okay. So is there anything else before we hop off, Lori?
Yeah. Quick question. Is there any way we can watch one of Shannon's lives? Just out of curiosity.
Like watch how what it looks like, her virtual?
Yeah. Just like, I don't know.
Sure. I don't know. I could ask. She does them, and so does Laura Lance. Laura Lance does them too.
I'm just curious. I'm just, I don't know, see what I mean, you probably are already talking to Laura or Shannon to get the flow and how they do that. And I was just curious if they're having, like, how many people do they every week? Is it like 100? Is it 50? Like,
no, I think it's more like 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just like a normal, just kind of group of people that are coming on, because even like in the big group that Lisa has, there's like 14,000 people in that. And only every now and again have I ever seen the actual viewer number be over 100.
Okay. That's what I was curious if it's that big of a, draw. Because I've added people to Healthy Living Live and Change Your Brand, Change Your Life. And just when the lives happen, if it's quite a few, like if it's hundreds, if people are like, oh my goodness, or is it closer to 20? And that's what I was just
I think it's more kind of in that 20 to 25 range. Okay. And what my hope is that it will be able to create some engagement with guests and ask questions, have them comment. If you're demoing like greens balance and you ask like who has ever tried a powdered, freeze-dried powdered greens before, or does that sound gross or good to you, and just letting them know that if they comment, they'll get entered to win some fizzies. I do think that that's one of the posts, is kind of giving them some teasers in order to draw some engagement or some commenting or things like that. Because the more people comment in the event on the post, the more it'll keep coming up in their feed.
Okay. I have one more it's not really off topic, but it kind of is just because it's something I'm with you. I'm not very savvy with the videos and that type of thing. And I've even gone on YouTube and like watched professional YouTubers, like their setup, and it's so elaborate, right? I mean, they got the selfie ring and the equipment side. Is there a good, someone's got a good setup that is not going to cost a fortune? Because I did a little live in one of my side groups, and I propped my phone up on my Keurig and it's so just goofy, but I'm like, how can we get better without investing in doing lives? I think it was Amanda Flowers. I don't know if she's on. I think it was Amanda. Someone actually took a picture and put it in their story, and it showed their phone taped on the mirror. And I so did that. I taped my phone in the mirror. But those little things that are for those of us that are not super techie savvy are super helpful.
Yeah. So I think again, it'll be kind of I think it'll be kind of as a learn as we go. I'm going to show you all, this little light I have. This is like a selfie ring light. Yeah. I think it's like $10 on Amazon. I use this on my laptop more than anything because the lighting in my office is not great. You can put them on your phones. I think that would be adequate. I think you just find good lighting wherever your house offers it. I think if we have somebody who's doing a makeup tutorial, they're going to figure out where to best sit in their house so that they get some lighting. I think at this point, the simpler that we can keep the setups and the execution, the better. Because then again, it just makes it attractive for people. Like if you have somebody who's on and they're watching a live and they're like, oh my gosh, this gal's got lighting like she's in Hollywood. They might feel a little intimidated to be like, oh, I could do an Arbonne business because I don't have a selfie ring that's as large as
right.
a donut swimmy lifeguard on top of my head, and a perfect office or a perfect living room space. I saw Amanda's too. I thought it was great that she just literally took masking tape and taped her phone to her bathroom mirror. And then she took a picture of it and to show people like, this is my setup. So I think anything like that, just as long as it's quiet and it's hopefully uninterrupted from kiddos, and the thing is too, these lives, I do think will need to be 15 to 20 minutes or less in order for people to watch them. Because I think if you go much over that, it just feels long.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just for the group's sake, I just know those are some silly things that I found myself getting tripped over a little bit. And I'm like, this shouldn't be this hard. Of course, I YouTube it or Google. And then people are like, this is how you set up. And they have 10 pieces of equipment. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I did get the selfie light and things like that. But I think I may not be the only one in the same thought that struggles, or even making flyers. Or sometimes I will spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to make a flyer cute. So any resources any of you all have in terms of making things more efficient for lives or for flyers or whatever, it's super helpful.
One time I will say when I did a live, I had a selfie stick. We could earn them from Arbonne a little while ago. And I propped it up in a coffee cup, kind of a sturdy coffee mug, and set it on my desk. And that was because I needed to do the live from my phone, not my laptop. And so that was how I did that. So, but we'll come up with all kinds of ways. And whoever is doing the lives, you'll have plenty of like lead time to know when you're up and to get your setup all set up.
Get our makeup on.
Get it all ready.
Get
So, yeah. So, all right. Well, cool. Does anybody else have any questions? If you don't, we are going to hop off and call it a night. So I just appreciate you guys hopping on. I love you all so much. I'm so excited for 2019. It is going to be the year of incredible things for this team. I cannot wait. So, all right. Love you all so much. I've recorded this, so I'm going to post it so you can rewatch it if you need to or share it with the team. All right. Love you all. Have a great night.